it happened not every time I took off for a flight, but quite frequently that would happen where we're like making the turn or whatever. And like, it's about to take off. Going like this. Oh man, I gotta remember all my stuff. I hope so. It's too late now. It's like, it's very irrational, but.
Hey everybody, welcome to Talkulture. I am Kid Cadet, and tonight I am joined by a very special co-host. He is the voice of Roadhog from Overwatch. It is Josh Petersdorf.
Boom, 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 big piggies in the room. Great to be here. Super stoked.
Chills.
we have an amazing guest tonight. We're gonna have an amazing time. The proton packs are lit. The ghost traps are set.
Awesome. Well, Josh, we had talked about this before, and we know our guest is a fan of Harry Potter. So I think it would only be appropriate if you introduce him as Snape.
Well, if we're ready, then I am as well. From the dark arts to the school of wizardry, these brave and loyal Gryffindors are known to cause a ruckus. Teach them we must be swift with each maneuver. Let us all welcome the great mage Levi Cooper.
Wow.
Hello. Yes, what an amazing introduction. Thank you, Josh.
Whoa. I mean, I'm sure you've done quite a few of these, Levi. Have you ever been introduced by a Snape? I mean, that has to be the first.
No, absolutely not. No. That was fantastic. I really appreciaed that a lot.
Anything. And I like how he was a mage. He's beyond a wizard. He's a mage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Level up.
You even rhymed. That was so impressive. Anyway.
Well, yeah. It had to have like some kind of like haiku element to it, limerick, some soliloquy.
Yeah. You definitely you got into it there for 30 seconds or so. It was.
That's how we do it here on Talkulture. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Levi. We are so honored to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Excited to have a good time.
Woohoo! Well, before we kind of talk a little bit more about wrestling, we know that you are a Gryffindor, but we want to know, what is your Patronus?
Oh, my Patronus would be a beaver, I would say. Yeah,
okay.
As a true Oregonian, Oregon State fan for life. That would be mine. Okay. I'm from the Beaver State. I'm a through and through. Love it.
Okay, that's a good one. Josh, do you have a Patronus?
I too. I may be with my Snape impersonations, but I feel I'm a Gryffindor at heart also. You know what I mean? And as I mentioned earlier, with our lumberjack heritage of the men of the forest of the north, I might too have to claim the beaver as well. You know what I mean? A very noble and wise animal.
Yes, regal creature.
Regal, dude. They just kind of post up, build a dam with the family, got a little home. They're like, why would I leave? There's water, shelter. It's good.
Right. They do their thing? They're an essential part of the ecosystem.
Right. That's right.
An essential component.
Fair enough. I have to work on mine, but I know I'm a Slytherin. I'm going to a convention this weekend, and they actually have a sorting hat there, so we'll have to find out for sure. So I'll have to keep you guys posted.
If we're gonna keep nerding out real quick about Harry Potter, I can drop another one in the hat if anyone wants. Levi, have you been to any of the theme parks that have like Harry Potter and stuff like this? Right?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, I lived in Orlando for 5.5 years and. Had season passes for 3 years to Universal, and that was a big reason why we got those. I went in the first month or so when when Diagon Alley opened up in the second piece, and they got the train too. So it was a very cool experience. I think my favorite part. This Diagon Alley is very cool because if you haven't been there, it's like the London front, right? And then you walk in. And when you're in, it's pretty narrow and tall. So you're like fully immersed, right? They got the noise going on. It's a whole deal. And then when you walk out, it's sort of like if you go to the movies and it's light out, and then you come back and it's dark and you're like, whoa, I just like walked into a whole new place. It's kind of that feeling when you walk out back into the park, you're just like, oh man, it kind of feels a little magical. I'm gonna say
they did it right. They did it right. I have an honor of being a little piece of it. If you see, like, the nighttime ceremony when they kind of project the lights over the castle and they do the whole show. Well, when the voiceover is the Sorting Hat, well, that was me. So I got to do that. Yeah. So
awesome.
So I've been I'm totally like bestowed to a lot of the Harry Potter fandom. You know what I mean? And I because Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, I'm the Hogwarts Sorting Hat. There's nothing I can't see. Try me on, and I'll tell you where you ought to be. There's a long story behind it, but I was thrilled to be a part of it. In that land, no joke, is tip top. We had to go through a lot of J.K. Rowling specific people to make it perfect, because I'm not the guy, and the guy is very old who does the voice and was unable to do it. So I was honored to be a part of that. Really cool.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Yeah, very cool. That's so awesome.
Yeah. Well, Josh, what do you say? You want to get started with that first?
Dude,
question?
yeah. I mean, everyone
Not
wants to
Harry
know,
Potter
like,
related.
being who you are, Levi, and being such an amazing talent in the ring. What was the first wrestling match memory? And I'm sure you've been asked this a lot, but what's the first one that drew you in? What's your first live or TV one? What was the one that sealed the deal that you saw?
Oh man. So I actually have a pretty cool story behind this. I think my grandfather, who actually he passed away in the last year, so there was a big part of my life, an amazing man. And he was in the House of Representatives in Oregon. And there was a time period where pro wrestling and MMA were not, allowed via this. There was no state commission in Oregon. And so it wasn't, they didn't sanction it essentially. Right. And this is, post Portland wrestling. And obviously there's some level of tradition of wrestling in Oregon. So for whatever reason, there's been a law passed in the 80s, I believe, that kind of outlawed it. And so my grandpa was a part of a group of congressmen that ended up passing a bill to bring it back. And I remember going to a show in Portland, a live event. It was, I want to say, late 99 or early 2000, because I was 10. So I'm not exactly sure which, but Kane and Undertaker was the main event, and I remember, just being there, and I mean, it was just cool, and I was like, man, this is just a cool experience, obviously, cool energy, and obviously just kind of be a part of that. And I mean, I didn't understand that at the time, maybe what kind of looking back on it and understanding the sort of significance of that, kind of always stuck with me.
I mean, I feel like, Kane and Undertaker can make anybody a fan. I feel they are two of the greats of all time.
Oh yeah, coming out, and they got the fire, right, and just it was a very, especially as, like I said, I think I was 10 years old, so just truly larger than life guys. I mean, they're both obviously large in stature, but also just large in presence as well. And and then kind of the theatrics behind that. I don't know that I've been at any kind of entertainment that had that level of production before at that point in my life. Right? So I don't think
anyone would fire.
Exactly. Yeah, it was very like, whoa, this is amazing.
Well, okay, so obviously you mentioned Taker and Kane, but was there ever like a guilty pleasure wrestler that you had? Maybe someone would be like, oh, you were a fan of so-and-so. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, I don't know that this fits in that category, but I always loved Santino. Like I know most people love him because how can you not? But I just like, anytime he would come on the TV, I was just like, yes, oh yeah, get some of the, and like, I don't know, just something about him and his just kind of personality, maybe emotional commitment. Hi Kenzie, that I just, I loved so much.
Santino Marella, legend, Cobra status for the win. Amazing. Yeah. Ready to strike at any point. So speaking on more wrestling, do you have any favorite moves to do on people when you're like, what's your favorite move to execute? Maybe not like a finisher, just favorite move in general. And maybe
I mean, a good clothesline is tough to beat, you know what I mean? In terms of just kind of like legitimately firing you up, just like, there's something about just a well-placed clothesline, a lot of meat on meat, good noise.
Good slap, yeah.
It's good force behind it. Good little extra body English, if you will, right? And I don't know, just love it.
And so, by the same message, now, do you appreciate taking the clothesline in the same fashion from someone?
Yeah, I don't mind taking the clothesline as long as it's, it's really no different than taking a tackle, really, if it's executed, they're executed similarly, right? I mean, I guess if it doesn't go exactly right, then the, consequences of a clothesline could be higher than a tackle. But yeah, I mean, as long as it's good and safe, I got no problem taking it.
Love it. Meat on meat.
Hit me in my beautiful face, then maybe we got a little bit of a problem. But we got some good chest on chest, man, meat slapping. I'm all about that.
Okay. Well, so obviously we already talked about Harry Potter a little bit, but outside of wrestling, what kind of fandoms helped shape you growing up?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess just kind of sports in general. The first goal I had was to be a Division I football player. I kind of talked about Oregon State, and for as far back as I can remember, we kind of had season tickets to them when they were bad. And like maybe as a third and fourth grader playing Pee Wee football games in the morning and taking a baby wipe shower on the way down to Corvallis and catching the Beaver game at 12:30, or whatever. Like that was kind of just always a very deep connection with me. So, I loved football, and I grew up kind of hunting and fishing with my father, and camping. And so the outdoors too is something that is definitely like my place of zen, place I like to go quite often, take my family, always doing a few camping trips during the summertime and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I'd say those are kind of my favorite things to do, outside of wrestling. That sort of, I don't know, I just take kind of a deep, knowledge of, I guess, and try to, learn as much as I can. I went huckleberry picking like 3 weeks ago, in the national forest, just like looked it up and found it, and, took my 3-year-old out there and picked some huckleberries, and I made a huckleberry crisp. It was awesome, so
that's best. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
What's a huckleberry?
It's like a blueberry, kind of.
Okay.
You don't know what a huckleberry is?
Is that something?
Well, it's kind of rare, right? That's why the cliche saying comes from about, I'll be your huckleberry is like, it only comes in a short period of time. And, you have to go deep into the forest to find it to some extent.
You said huckleberry crisp. Is that like something like a pie we're talking here?
Like a pie, yeah, but just with instead of a pie crust, you get some macerated berries, you put them down in the bottom, then like a oat and brown sugar flour mixture on top, and then you bake it for a half hour or so, and the berries kind of bubble up over the top, and you just got this nice mixture of berries and carb deliciousness that's so good.
I'm so hungry.
I'm not starving.
I'm trying
Baking,
to remember.
I guess, would be another thing. Cooking, I love cooking, baking, barbecuing. Just getting down in the kitchen and on the barbecue. Obviously that was something that Otis and I used to do together quite often, but something that I did long before that. It's hard to be a big guy if you can't cook well for yourself, in my opinion. So that was kind of, started as necessity and turned into a love.
What are we throwing on the grill? Are we throwing steaks, flank steak, fillets, potatoes, tinfoil? What are we throwing on there?
All kinds of stuff. Yeah, man. I love, the most recently, I did pork, pork shoulder, half a pork shoulder, made some pulled pork. Before that, I made Cornish hens, which is like a mini chicken. Love some ribs on there.
Exotic here. I like it.
Obviously you'll go for some steaks as well, and meat shop down the road's got a nice top sirloin, in my opinion. So sirloin cap steak. So I'll go for that sometimes. And I like all kind of, maybe some corn or zucchini I like on the barbecue as well as a vegetable.
Well, maybe without giving anything away, do you have any like special grill secrets that you can share with people that might make their meal next level?
Oh, well, I think seasoning, this sounds simple, but like you got to season on both ends to me. Like you got to season before you cook, and then when it's done, you got to season it again, in my opinion, with whatever it is, like sauce or something. If you want it to be the best kind of barbecue, to me, like you got to right? So if like I'm making ribs, I'll put a dry rub on, and then I'll smoke them for a while with the dry rub, and then I'll put them in tin foil with like some apple juice and some butter and a little brown sugar, and then cover them up and let them kind of do that for a couple hours, and then maybe open them back up and put some barbecue sauce on and give them, you know, so you gotta, or also I'd say like for poultry, you gotta brine it if you want it to turn out the best. Like you're always like, man, how do these restaurants get their chicken to be so juicy and salty in the middle? Well, it's because they soak it in salty water for like 24 hours, you know? So especially with turkey, if you want to have an amazing Thanksgiving turkey, soak the turkey, get a 5-gallon bucket, you know, 1 gallon of water for 1 cup of salt, 1 cup of sugar, mix it all together, put it in the garage, cover it up with a towel, let it sit there for 24 hours. Your Thanksgiving turkey will be way better.
And how do you feel about deep frying turkeys? Because it could be a little controversial.
Oh, I'm not against it. You know, I think it's obviously maybe not a traditional thing to do on Thanksgiving, you know, but I've deep fried turkeys before, and can turn out to be very delicious. Okay. So, you know, I'm not against it at all.
People take it to the extremes with the turducken.
Yeah, I mean, I've cooked my Thanksgiving turkey on my smoker, and I would say people would say that's a controversial move for me to do that. So, they're like not traditional, anyways, right? It's like, oh, you're not cooking your Thanksgiving turkey in the oven. You know, maybe that's like a boomer thing. I don't know, but I feel like there's been some judgment around like it's Thanksgiving, you need to cook the turkey in the oven.
You're such a rebel. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, you know.
Turkey police on Twitter are going to be like, how dare he? I'm going to
unbelievable. Yeah. How dare him?
Before we make everyone starve to death, I was going to say, right? I see, we mentioned it earlier. I see the video games in the back. So it's obviously ingrained too. First favorite video game or favorite video game period. We saw that you were streaming the other night some Destiny 2. I saw that. What's currently on the resume right now? Oh
man, I mean, mostly play probably FIFA and Fortnite would be my top 2 games, I would say. You know, Mario Golf, I've been playing a pretty decent amount of lately on the Switch. Big fan of that game, loving it. I just started trying Splitgate out, you know, little mini try.
Portals,
you know, not too familiar with that, but it's you know. From what I understand, it's a little similar to Halo back in the day. So,
has the precision rifle feel to it a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, favorite game franchise of all time probably got to be Grand Theft Auto. I would say, you know, just man, very good, so good, always dependable. You know, maybe not always. You know, not everyone should be playing that game, but. You got to check yourself sometimes, you know, if you've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto and you're driving down the freeway and you're like looking at cars, thinking about taking them, and then maybe I need to take a little pause from the game for a little while. But
don't do that.
You know,
not a good sign. No, Grand Theft Auto. I remember there's been so many amazing versions, but the thing I was most impressed about is that GTA 5 was even on the PS3 years ago, like the current.
Yeah.
Me and someone else were talking about that the other day, how incredible they milked everything out of the PS3.
I beat it for PS3, and then when it came out for PS4, I bought it immediately. I was like, definitely playing this online on the PS4. Like
now it's on VR and PS5 or something with first person.
Yeah, it's 3 generations.
It's out of control. Have you done? Do you watch any Twitch streamers who play GTA, like No Pixel RP, or do you watch any of that stuff? Or
I mean, I've watched some streams. I don't know anyone that I've watched specifically, but it's pretty wild how much stuff those guys have online. And
it's such a crazy genre how that even was born, right? Like a game that came out almost 8 years, more than that ago.
Yeah,
has this online community where people if you don't know, Heather, they just basically RP as whatever character they are on a GTA server, and it's super serious. Like it's this private server.
Yeah, they've maintained it the whole time. So this game's been out for almost 10 years. And it's basically like an MMO at this point. You know, you go into the lobby and the map's so big. It takes you 30 minutes to drive from one side to the other on GTA 5. So when you're playing online, it's so massive, and they every 6 months or whatever, they keep coming out with new stuff, new cars, new planes, new missions. So like really any illicit thing you could possibly think of in your life, you could do it in the game. Like you could have whatever drug house, like it literally anything, any kind of illicit way to make money, ill-gotten gains, you could do it all in the game. It's like
it's all covered.
It's crazy. Yeah,
it's all in the game.
It's all in the game.
It's all in the game. But I was asking Josh before we started the stream. Last night I went to go see the movie Free Guy. Have you seen it yet?
No. How was it? That's Ryan Reynolds, right?
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quintessential Ryan Reynolds living in like essentially Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I'd definitely go and see it.
I highly recommend. I'm not getting paid for this, non-spons, but yeah, guys, if you're watching after the stream is over, then I give you guys permission to go watch. So,
yes,
you know. So you also mentioned you're playing Mario Golf. Did you like grow up playing other Mario games?
Well, I got a Wii was my first Mario system. So like N64 and GameCube. I only ever played those when I was like at my friend's house or something like that. So I wasn't like, I didn't, I guess, dive deep into those consoles as much as, you know, like I said, we had the Wii at home. So I played a lot of stuff on that. For the GameCube, I used to love Mario Strikers, the soccer game. I was a big fan of that, played quite a bit of it. Obviously GoldenEye on N64, you know, everybody was playing that growing up. So a couple of my friends had that. We would always play that. Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8's awesome too for Switch. Love that. You know,
that game has been another one that's been redesigned and is still tested.
Yeah, because it was a 3DS game, right?
It's just the whole that series is the newest one too has been remade on 3 different systems. Like I think you were saying, started off.
Yeah, so. That's Nintendo's so good at doing that, and like I mean. Well, what they're like bringing out, you know, what the Link's game, what was like the 3rd or 4th Zelda. It was
Skyward Sword, and they just they remastered it and released that one as brand new. And
then Link's Awakening, I think they brought out for the Switch. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's pretty wild that my wife just started playing Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Borderlands either. That's like me and her play together all the time. Like all the Borderlands games, have beat them all, love them all, like beaten them twice. If you haven't played them, they're fantastic.
That's such a healthy couple thing, playing Borderlands together.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's go kill some vermin, alien scum together. You want to do it?
Gotta get it out. Okay, so the next question, maybe a little controversial. Marvel or DC?
Oh man. Probably, I mean, I don't know. I'll probably have to go DC just because Batman's, you know, I'm just a big fan of Batman.
Who's your Batman?
Christian Bale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just.
I'm embarrassed to say my Batman.
Is it Michael Keaton? It's Michael Keaton, right? No, it's not Michael. Val Kilmer.
It's Val.
It's Val.
It's Val. Val's my Batman. That was like I was like 8th grade. It was like Batman Forever came out. It was like an emotional time.
Right? Just whatever connects with you. You know what I mean? There's no like. That's what art in that medium's all about, really, right? Just whatever, like to me, whatever connects with you. You just remember it, even if like objectively it's not that good. You know who cares, dude? Like when I was 8 years old, I loved it. I'll love it forever. You can't tell me nothing about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So continuing the controversial questions with the fandom, did The Last Jedi suck or was it?
Oh, it wasn't good. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to go as far as to say that it sucked. It was like, you know, I don't mean to me, nothing was ever going to like. It's just going to be pretty impossible to beat the original trilogy, just because like. I mean, it's such a good buttoned up story from beginning to end, those 3 parts. And obviously it's the original too. So everything after it's going to be slightly derivative just by its nature. And it's just, you know, it's like I said, I think those 2 things made it going to be like in most people's minds, tough to beat no matter how good it was. And then, you know, I don't know, you just kind of like, I don't know, they had to do what they had to do, right? They sort of had their hands tied with the way that the first one went down and sort of the ways that they kind of tried to explain the Force or whatever, right, around just someone being right, Luke being shut off from the Force and just kind of having to move forward from that and tell the story around that was like, I don't know, it was just always destined to be because like Game of Thrones, right? I love Game of Thrones,
Mm.
but I was always worried about the last season after 7 was going down, because it's just like, man, you guys gave us a lot of climaxes in season 7. Like, how are you gonna, like, this is supposed to be your setups, you know what I mean? It's like,
Exactly.
hey, that's why 5 and 6 and Harry Potter are so good, because they don't, like, yeah, there's cool stuff that happens, but it gives you way more questions than it does answers. But Game of Thrones season 7, you know, it was like, and the same I thought with kind of the way that Star Wars was just like, they kind of put themselves in a hole where you're like, I kind of see how this is going to go down, because it kind of can only go down one of two ways. And
Well,
so, you know.
since you mentioned
Well
that,
said.
if
Well
I'm
said.
trying to remember what happened with Game of Thrones. The writers, didn't they leave to work on Star Wars? Was that something happened then they didn't? And that's why they rushed that final
And
season?
the guy who wrote all the books, like, never like finished writing the books. And
Well, yeah, so it's been for like, so George R. Martin, yeah, so he's written 5 books, and book 6 has been being worked on for over a decade now, right? It's like, and to me, I think he's just going to write them all and put it all out at the same time. At least I've read the books, so I'm hoping that happens. I'm like, come on, bro, just please put them out before you don't put them out, because something happens to you. Like, I love you and I don't want something to happen to you, but I also
right.
really want you to put these books out because they're good and I like them a lot. So, you know, yeah, I think once it got past that, which was like kind of between seasons 5 and 6, you know, then the writers at HBO were kind of flying solo, right, riding in the mud. And he's like, if I'm him, I'm not giving them my best ideas, right? I might give them some ideas, but I'm certainly not giving them my best ideas. And they just, you know, like I said, I mean, I just think they, like, season 7 just was too good. It was just like, oh man, you guys, you know, you ended so many stories and you did a good job with them. But to me, the fatal flaw in the last season of Game of Thrones was like killing the Night King when they did, you know, not even if, like, okay, Arya probably shouldn't have, but to me, like, that's the story from literally the first scene of the entire show.
It's all about the Night King.
Guy running away
Yes.
from the White Walkers. Like, you've been telling that story, and now before even halfway through the season, you're going to just like end it just like that for a shock moment instead of, I don't know, if not for nothing,
Right,
but if I'm writing that show, the Night King's sitting on the throne. Like, literally, sorry guys, this ain't a happy ending show. Like, I didn't tell you guys, it's never been a happy ending show. Like, we killed Ned Stark at the end of season 1, and sometimes the good guys don't win. And the last scene would be the Night King sitting on the throne. That's how I would have ended that show.
And then he's like, and go read books 6 through 12 to explain how we take the Night King down.
Heals up, baby, you know?
what I mean? Like, yeah.
Heals up in the end.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I like that. I have not heard anyone come up with that scenario before. They're doing
I like that a lot.
Yeah, they're doing a prequel, right? About the Night King.
Targaryens, it's a Targaryen show.
Oh, they're Targaryens. Okay. That, I mean, I'm excited.
Well,
Let's see if they get it right.
I think. I'm pretty sure they have 3 that are like in production or whatever. That's the first one that's going to be done, though. It's like the House of the Dragon or whatever, I think is what it's called.
Stuff to look forward to.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully they do a good job with it. I'm sure they will. I mean, HBO usually does a pretty good job with their shows, to be fair.
Fair enough.
I've been pleased with my HBO Max subscription. They've been delivering. I'm not mad. They got good content on HBO Max.
They do.
Worth every bit of the $9.
Also non-spons. All right.
Non-sponsored, but we'd love to have it. No.
HBO, if the executives are watching.
HBO listening. We love your product.
Like to send us a couple.
Oh, Matt Smith from Doctor Who is in the prequel for Game of Thrones. Okay, that's interesting. That'll be fun. Interesting. Okay. All right, Josh, what you got?
All right. You mentioned Mario Golf, and you, judging on your Instagram, you are an avid golf player also.
Yeah, I actually just played golf today. Played an 18 par 3 course before
talking about.
Not bad. Not so good on the front 9. Okay. The back 9. I made par on the first one, and I made 8 straight bogeys after that.
That's
no doubles, no pars, 8 straight bogeys after that. So it's, not bad.
Okay.
Not bad.
I'm assuming where you grew up, there must have been amazing golf courses out there. Was that something that helped start your play of golf, or?
Yeah, started playing here, and then played quite a bit in Orlando, actually. You know, there's a lot of amazing golf in Orlando.
Courses out there too.
And it's not so great during the summertime, but during the wintertime, obviously, it's amazing there. And so just a few of the guys that I wrestle with at the Performance Center, we would play golf quite a bit, you know, like if we could, we'd get out once a week. Sometimes our schedules wouldn't allow us to do that, maybe be more like once a month, but sometimes.
Who had the best handicap?
Around there?
Yeah.
Mike Rawless, Riddick Moss.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
He was the best.
Now-
Tino Sabatelli would try to say that his was better, but Rawless was better.
Who's the drive? Who's the one who's just the drive? You know, the drive maniac who's doesn't care about the mid game and putt. Who's the one who's like, I got this new driver. I can hit the ball 340 today.
Probably Dozer. Whenever he would golf, on the rare occasions that he would go out.
Okay. I recently went to Topgolf for the first time. Have you guys been?
Yeah,
I've never been. I've only seen it. I'm totally FOMOing on Topgolf too.
It's cool, man. It's kind of like bowling, but with golf.
Can you bring your own club, or do they supply that? Is it like
both.
Okay, cool?
Oh, you can.
You can bring your own. They have some there. Yeah.
I would bring my own for the most part because I just treat it like a driving range, just like a driving range hopped up, right, with a bar behind you, like you know.
Yeah, and it's somebody who brings you drinks and food if you want them, you know, and like. It's a kind of expensive to go by yourself because you pay by the hour, and you can have 6 people playing. So, you know, it's like, and I think it depends on what time you're going. Like during the earlier times, it's cheaper. During peak times, it's like maybe $50 or $60 an hour, something like that.
Yeah,
it's a good social spot too. People who don't even play, sit back, have a beer. You know
what
I mean?
Yeah, it's cool.
What a
I mean, the times I went, we had a really good time. It's fun.
Do you have a dream course that you'd like to play that you haven't yet?
Oh, I mean, my dream would be Augusta National, of course, but I don't know that would ever happen in my lifetime. But if it could happen, that would be, like I wouldn't sleep the night before. I would, this is like, man, that would be so cool.
Yeah. My dad got to go to one of the pre-days of the Masters, I guess, kind of leading up to it. And it just made his entire existence, that's my dad's a big golfer too. So
okay.
He always has me ask, and I hope that this is okay to ask, but he likes to know if you're a hooker or a slicer.
I'm a slicer.
You're a slicer. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to say that I have a nice fade, but that'd be a lie.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we asked that question because surprisingly, the guests that we have in the show we get a lot of golfers. So we asked that question to Tommy Chong, who I guess he has his own method of playing, which is, he says, right in the middle, whatever that means. He was very high. I don't even think he knew what we were asking him, but yes, he was very on brand. It was adorable. And apparently he's also very good at golf.
When you book Tommy Chong, you get what you get, right?
He's not here, man. He's not here, man.
Yeah, he signed on about 20 minutes late to the stream because he, I guess, makes his own smoking apparatuses,
maybe, I don't know.
Apparati. And he was testing his new wares and forgot about the stream, but we got him on eventually. And it was,
that can happen when you're testing out that type of apparatus.
R&D for Tommy Chong, right?
Yeah. That's a pretty good excuse though if you're Tommy Chong, sorry, I'm getting high, sorry, I'm late.
Sorry. Well, I guess let's ask Josh, let's each ask one more question and then we can go to the game that we have.
Okay, cool.
So, let's see. Okay. So as a wrestler, do you ever have reoccurring nightmares? They call it, I'm trying to think of what the word is in acting. Oh, the actor's nightmare, oh my God, I forgot all my lines or my costumes don't fit. Does that ever happen to you as a wrestler?
So it wouldn't be a dream, I would say, or a nightmare. It would be, for me, it would usually always happen when I was about to take off on the airplane, and I would have a little mini panic about forgetting some one of my piece of my gear, right, or my boots. Just should I throw in what I need to throw in? That was usually when I got my kind of moment. It happened not every time I took off for a flight, but quite frequently that would happen where we're making the turn or whatever, and it's about to take off. Going like this, oh man, I gotta remember all my stuff. I hope so. It's too late now. It's like it's very irrational, but
I appreciate that simulation. That was very good.
Yeah. I had to just make sure that everyone kind of felt how I was feeling in the moment. You know what I mean?
But was your safety belt fastened? I just want to make sure for what we just saw.
My safety belt would be fastened, yeah, but I would always have it as far out as possible.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because I'm a rebel.
Woo!
At least you're not the rebel who puts their foot with no sock on, it like behind you.
That's not a rebel. That's an animal.
That's an animal.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Okay, so before we play the game, another wrestling question. What would you recommend to newer talent in the business as just a top 3 to get their heads wrapped around when they start this crazy thing called professional wrestling?
Oh man, the places to start, I would say, like first of all, you got to get good training. You got to make sure that you can do, the essential basic components of a wrestling match, whatever, maybe 100 moves or, whatever, however many kind of you want to wrap around sort of what would be the foundational basics, right? Hip tosses and how to work the arm, how to work the leg, how to work the head, how to do different takeovers, how to take all of those different kinds of things, how to call a different spot, right? Maybe a squisher, how to run the ropes, how to do. So you have to be able to do all those things safely. Spend the money on your gear so that you look good and you look like a professional, not, it's as much, whether it's fair or not fair, it's an aesthetics based business. And so you must treat it as such, you got whatever, like you have to be tan, whatever you want your look to be, like have it thought out to some extent, right? Have it match whatever it is that you're kind of going for. And, if you're going to spend some money, that's the place, in my opinion, to, sort of spend money to make money, if you will. And third, I would say, this is kind of a big picture thing, but like know yourself and know your worth. You got to obviously you got to be willing to kind of acquiesce and put yourself out there and maybe like deal with some proverbial, shit, if you will, like you kind of put up with those things, but know where your like line of self-respect is, and where it's like if someone crosses this line, like no matter what the opportunity is, I won't allow myself to whatever that is, right? Because you still have to look yourself in the mirror, and so don't know yourself and know your worth. Those would be my 3 things.
Wow,
great advice, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
great advice. Anybody listening at home?
Yeah. Well, Levi, we have a game of Would You Rather. So we're going to have 2 options for you. There is no wrong answers here. And we got some graphics coming up. What'd you say?
Just judgment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have background music too? Do we have that too?
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in the
Yeah. Well, Josh, do you want to read the first one?
Okay, Levi. Would you rather compete on the game show Chopped or compete on Top Chef?
Chopped, for sure.
Chopped, for sure. Why is this? Because I don't trust the judges at Top Chef as much as I would. You know what I mean?
I'm just a big fan. First of all, I'm just more of a fan of Chopped than Top Chef, but also I like the idea of a one day kind of competition based game show versus like a week in, week out one that's more not necessarily all personality based, but has some kind of elements of a reality television show. Not like that doesn't interest me as much as something that's like a straight up competition. And Chopped seems pretty legit to me in terms of TV competitions.
Okay, Levi, let's say, I'm just thinking now. Okay, here's your ingredients, all right? We're going to go venison, huckleberries, and peanuts. What do you make?
Oh, man, that's a difficult one. Well, I'll probably grill the venison. Got to make sure that I add some fat with it, right? So we'll season it up. Not too crazy, just salt, pepper, garlic, maybe a lot of butter, maybe a little rosemary in there. Probably take the peanuts and make some kind of a pesto, some kind of maybe chimichurri-ish pesto type situation to go, on top of, to pair with the meat. And with the huckleberries, I would have to make, some kind of a reduction sauce. Maybe red wine probably would go well with the venison. So yes, a red wine and huckleberry reduction, and maybe I would make some. I would probably make some mashed potatoes, some nice creamy mashed potatoes to go on the side, just to kind of pull everything together.
Wow.
Okay. I'm so hungry after this.
You think it'd be delicious? We'll see. Maybe I don't know if we could cook it right or not, but I think it might be good.
Okay.
Look, we're still on the West Coast. It's like 4:40 over there. It's not 8. Like you guys have already eaten dinner over there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually hungry right now, so that's kind of I think maybe helping me as well. I'm like thinking about what my dinner's going to be, and
a venison huckleberry chimichurri reduction.
Yeah, no, I got chicken wings coming up.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Chicken wings.
Yummy. All right. Here's the next one. Would you rather?
All right.
Ooh, ride Escape from Gringotts 10 times in a row, or spend a summer day walking the park after drinking 12 butterbeers. And Josh also added, and not being able to use the restroom.
I'll take my chances on the ride. 10 times in a row.
The other one is certain death.
Yeah. For a big guy, dude, I can't go to the bathroom. I can't drink water. I have to have this. Look, if that was 12 regular beers, we might be having a whole different discussion here.
Okay.
12 sodas, no chance.
No chance.
I mean, I do like butter beers too, but like I'll split one with my wife, and that's about as much as I can have. I'd be throwing up after 12 butter beers for sure.
What's your
a big number?
I think I originally started with 6, and then Jude changed it to 12. He's violent.
And those are like Oktoberfest.
Yeah, that's like drinking like 2-liter bottles of soda pop or something.
What is your preferred type of butter beer? Like, do you like the hot one, the blended one?
Oh, I like the frozen one the best.
Okay. Ditto.
I like classic with cream.
But actually, a lot of times I would get a frozen one and a regular one, and then we would mix, half and half. And it was all pretty delicious.
You do know your theme park. You do know your theme park.
Spend a lot of time in that theme park area.
Damn. All right. Josh, ready for the next one?
Next one. Would you rather play a round of golf with Tim Allen or play a round of golf with Joe Pesci?
I think I'm going with Mr. Pesci.
Mr. Pesci.
Yes.
Okay.
Just don't get buried somewhere on the back nine.
I know, right?
Josh, do you have a Pesci? That has to be a hard one to do, right?
Pesci he's one of those things. It's like, I don't know anyone that can do a decent Pesci because it's so Pesci. It's like, like,
well, he doesn't like, he's the same, but he's different in everything. It's not like
he's my favorite. Home Alone is like my favorite Pesci movie. like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But he's in the gold tooth in Home Alone, and just the kind of smile. He's just he's unreplicatable.
Oh, when he's like, he can't curse because it's a kid's movie, but it's like he knows exactly what he's saying, and he just like you couldn't imagine anyone else doing that like better than him.
Sure.
Home Alone.
That's my
Joe Pesci top 5.
Every Christmas Home Alone without fault.
So this year, my husband and I also watched Home Alone 2, like just to add it. Those like traps were so much worse than the first one.
Kind of like darker, right?
They're like, he got bricks in his head. Yes, it was like terrifying. That was real bad. Anyway, that's a whole nother live stream to talk about those. So we'll go to the next one. Sorry, we wanted a Joe Pesci tangent. Okay, Levi, would you rather compete in a strongman competition or compete in a triathlon?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with strongman competition, I think, on this one. Yeah.
Okay.
The triathlon seems a little bit too much like an exercise competition to me. The strongman's more of a lifting competition, and I think anaerobic exercise is more my wheelhouse than aerobic exercises.
Okay, fair enough.
Driving results. Moving on. Speaking about sparring, would you rather spar with Kurt Angle in his prime or Bret Hart in his prime?
What are we talking about here? We're talking about
let's just go straight technical match, nothing crazy, just maybe a one-on-one, just a house show, and you guys could do whatever you want.
Oh, probably Brett then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's the master, dude. Like, to me, he's like, he would have to be in the top 3 guys you would want to, if you want to have like that kind of match, just someone, hey, like, just lead me through it and make, like, let's have an amazing match. Yeah, Bret Hart's, I think he's on the top of my list anyways for all timers in that regard, just like technical assassins.
The excellence of execution.
Yes.
100%.
Okay, you said top 3, so who would the other 2 be?
In terms of like calling it in the ring, doing it that way, Daniel Bryan would be on that list. And I would probably go with, I'd probably say Triple H, actually, just for kind of his longevity and the way that, you know, he seemed like he was able to kind of do that with a lot of different guys in WWE throughout kind of a multitude of generations.
I agree. Triple H underrated for that, for sure. 100%.
Awesome. All right. Here is the next one. Would you rather have your likeness used as a skin in Fortnite or experience living in any video game world for a day?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of narcissistic, but I gotta go with the likeness being used as a Fortnite skin, because that would be pretty legendary, I feel like.
Definitely. Yes. I feel, are we still doing the TikTok, or not that? Yeah, they do the dances on TikTok, right? Like the Fortnite dances.
Oh yeah.
What?
The emotes in that game, and that game has evolved so much from when it started as just a Fortnite save.
I mean, it's like it's entrenched as a piece of pop culture basically at this point, you know, at least for a pretty big, and like, I mean, and it's starting to carve out a larger and larger swath of pop culture. I mean, like after Looney Tunes, they got Looney Tunes LeBron James in the game, you know, like, and
there's
they have
Ariana Grande concerts. There's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, Ariana Grande in the game. Like, had Travis Scott for a long time. Like, they got, you know, it's pretty big deal at this point. Like,
okay.
Speaking of Ariana Grande, now, would you rather have your entrance music when you come out be a Kids Bop song or an Irish drinking song?
Oh man,
I didn't write this one, but I got.
I mean, I don't know that I know an exact example of an Irish drinking song, but that definitely seems, you know, like better entrance music for wrestling.
Better. What if it was like a Kids Bop, like Cannibal Corpse, like, you know?
I mean, I suppose Heavy Machinery, you know, could have come out to some Kids Bop song in some different alternate time.
Okay. I think, and I'm trying to remember, Josh, if you were part of the conversation we had about like the lullabies that they have, but it's like, it'll be Slipknot, but it's like as a lullaby, or like, have you heard those? Because it is the crazy. Levi, have you heard those?
No, on Kids Bop or Irish drinking songs?
Like, neither. Oh, but it's like a
Slipknot lullaby.
Yeah, it is a literal Slipknot lullaby. Like, it'll be.
You're just whispering to your child. I felt the air rise up in me, reach down and clear.
No, I'm gonna have to check it out though.
No, they literally have people equal shit as a lullaby, and these are for children. Oh wow. Yeah, and the Heretic Anthem. Anyway, all right. Here's the final one.
That seems like a rabbit hole.
Oh, it is. Would you rather? This is another favorite one that we love to ask. Be a reverse merman or be a reverse centaur?
Oh. Man.
The picture on the left.
Oh yeah.
They're both pretty ridiculous. Like,
they're both awful. There's no redemption here.
Paul's being kicked up is like very you know, I don't know, just I'll go with the reverse centaur, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better hair.
Better hair, better flow. Hair. You know, I feel like a horse is just a more majestic animal in general than, I mean, that reverse merman, it looked basically like a fish with human legs, not like anything beautiful. So, you know, yeah, I'm gonna.
Can you imagine touching that? Oh yeah.
It just looks like a fish that wouldn't be able to swim very well at all.
Yeah. A lot of logistics. What if it was like the head of a blobfish That would okay. Anyway, well, Levi, we've reached the end of the stream. So before we do wrap this up, is there any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
Well, it was great. I appreciate you guys. We had a good time. If you want to see more of me, you can check me out on Levi Cooper Live on Twitch. That's kind of the place that I'm going at right now. My wife and I are working on a self-care YouTube channel. It's not out yet, but I got a second child coming soon, so it'll be coming in the sometime near future, but I don't have an exact date on that. And if you want to check me out on social media, that's Real Levi Cooper on Instagram and Twitter. I'm taking the rest of this year off to be a stay-at-home dad. My wife just got a big job in the district office of her school district, so no more wrestling for me this year. But 2022, I'm going to be hitting the ground running, and very much looking forward to having the opportunity to just kind of be whoever it is that I want to be inside the ring, and pumped up for that.
That's awesome. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing your ring return. And obviously, like you mentioned, you have another baby on the way. So congratulations, and congrats to your wife. That's amazing too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good time. Things are, it's exciting.
Yay. Well, Josh, any plugs you want to give before we wrap it up?
Man, you can check me out on the Twitch. All my social medias are all here. It's a Menace Made on Instagram and Optimus Slimed on Twitch. Boom.
Such good names. And before we wrap it up, we want to go over our upcoming guests. So next Tuesday, we're going to be joined by Chelsea Green. On Thursday, we're going to be joined by Matthew Embry from the RX Bandits, ending the month with Greg Proops. And then we already got a guest for October. We have need to learn how to pronounce his name. We'll go with Nick for now. Yep, there we go.
Greg
That's it.
Proops.
Like Gunbarian.
Gunbarian. Yep, that seems correct to me.
I think that sounds correct.
Yep, correct. Well, anyway, guys, I'm going to go eat anything that I can because these Dunkaroos aren't cutting it after this stream. And Levi, thank you so much again. Josh, you'll be joining me again next Tuesday. And for everyone watching, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.